Hi, and welcome to Our Place in Sicily. It is time for Jen and I to have another discussion, and she's going to get me more organized this week. So I'm going to pop her in to our call. Hello,
I like
Jen.
that. I just pop in. Hello.
It's great. I feel magic. I took TV class in high school, and we got to do like the camera 1, camera 2 switching, and this is like using StreamYard is like that all over again. Okay, so we're going to go through today the guest house, and you're getting me organized, and we're sort of having to go a little backwards because I had to do so much stuff without you. And let me just tell you, the stuff going forward has been so much easier. And you're such a joy to work with. It's fun. And so that's what we're going to go through today. We have an Excel list. And you said like, not every designer works the same way, and no two people ever do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to pretend I'm polished and grown up. I came into design through the back door. I am self-taught, but I've been doing this 20 years, and I've watched a lot of grown-ups, and I always have learned to surround myself with the people who are trained in what they do. But I have a master's in education, and my brain says, let's just get your brain in order. You have been going between massive main house and guest house and digging in, but we need a checklist. We need organization. So, everything's in control. And also I can see what's in your brain, and then I can know what you already have. And then you and I can make sure that the contractors are never ill prepared for when they need it.
Right. Exactly. I love it. And it's the details that matter. And sometimes it feels like when you're working on a project this big, it's the details that get lost because you're like, okay, I'm not going that deep today. I'm going to big picture. And then you forget, like, we have no towels. There's no toilet to sit on in this bed, whatever. So I think that's great.
Paper. I'm just kidding.
So hang into this session, and Jen and I are we're going to give you some bits and pieces. We're not going to bore you with my long, list of things I've got to do, but we will find some really good parts for you guys to share and see how we do this. And then we'll come back at the end and just sort of, I'll tell you how maybe to make this useful for everybody else, tell them how they could
takeaways.
Try this in their own. Yeah, perfect.
You have one of the largest undertakings a human could have in a home adventure.
Right. So it's just short of a business.
Yeah. Whether it's this versus even tackling your apartment or home, how do you start your brain around it? And so I'm just going to share how my brain goes around it.
Yeah. I think that's perfect. That's exactly what I would like. And the other thing that if we had more time last week that I would like to talk about is, so we talked about having something that drives the design for a specific room, but then I want to understand, how do I keep things in control as I design a whole house? Sold our house in Boston. We used a very good realtor who actually brought in somebody to stage. And what I loved about it is the way she had told a story through color. I was like, oh, I've not really thought about how you connect one room to the other.
The hard part is depersonalizing the journey, because what happens, you're so involved, you're so up close. Like a designer, we come in, we're just seeing it for the house picture. It's like a haircut for your face. If you're like, haircut for my face, and then they're like, but your face isn't that shape. Same thing for the house. So like, I always go from 3 to 5 colors, 3 strong colors as being my foundation, 2 colors that can supplement or harmonize into it. And the easiest way to help people through it is the slideshows. We just visually show how it's going to go from one room to the other. Most people are visual. You have visual learners, auditory learners, but most are visual. So if I can show you how it's doing, this is where me being an art teacher comes in handy.
Definitely.
My concepts for you. Before we even create the color story, which I love, like I love to jump into the fun stuff, but we got to start with the boring stuff. So when you work on a project like this and you got to get your head around it, I'm a big fan of to-do lists because it's going to help us like start to tackle it. I can't see myself in that.
Yeah. I know.
I'm like there. So large. I'm going to start an Excel document. Most designers would not show this part of it. They were grown-up designers. They do it in their firm with like their small army of people. I'm a
Right.
lone wolf, and I am also transparent. I am also going to show how I do it, how other people do it maybe differently. But this is how my brain is going to tackle helping you on this project. So
Great.
I'd like to start with the Excel document, and we're going to start with the guest house, and we're going to go room by room.
Okay.
The difference for a homeowner watching this is you're already on the journey, but the fun part for a homeowner is that's actually where a lot of people are. You have stared at that guest house and thought about it way more than I have. So I'm coming in and catching up. And how do I get in your brain, and how do I help you tackle it?
Right.
Then how do I get you to trust me quickly, which I know you do, but other people, it takes
Right.
time. Usually other people, it takes one whole room done for them to go, fine, we trust you. And I design like an artist, which you will appreciate. It's a feeling, it's a layering, which is different than I don't control everything. Sometimes I say, let's get it to this point, wait, see it, then feel it, then layer into it, which I think you will appreciate.
I love it.
Go ahead. I'm going to start presenting. We're going to go to our Excel doc, and I want us to just start digging in. We started talking about each room, but I'm just going to have you rattle off what we need in each spot. So we're going to start with, I'm just going to title this guest house. And we're going to tab this out. This is going to be your document for everything. So guest house scope of work. We will then start to go to main room. When I do scope of work, this is work being done and selections, but then I'll break it down into tile or lighting on these other tabs. Okay. So
cool.
Guest house. And what's the name of your front room in that room?
The front room is the sitting room.
Sitting room. Now, is there anything that needs to be selected for the exterior front?
The whole front, it shares a front with the main house, which won't be done until the next phase. So there will be, but not yet.
Okay. I'm going to say, I still will acknowledge it, and I'm going to be done with main house. And sometimes it's notes because we catch people up to it. And sometimes this will just be for you and I. Okay, sitting room, selections that need to be chosen for you to feel complete. Was there a ceiling fixture in there?
So we're moving the ceiling fixture from the studio into this room, and that'll need to be reimagined, or at least cleaned.
Okay. So really it's more just a refurbishment.
Refurbishment, yep.
Okay.
And then we
did some of this last time, but just start rattling it off.
Okay, so we have okay, I'm going to tell you what we need. We do have some things from that we've shipped here that could fit into that slot, but I'd rather just say what it is we need, and we'll decide if we're going to pull from our store. Okay, so we need a love seat. We need a small desk. Sort of like not a desk you'd work at for 8 hours a day, but you could if you were staying there for a weekend.
Like laptop up and work. Do you need a desk?
Exactly. Yeah. I think just a regular, a nice, not uncomfortable chair, but not a rolling
chair as a desk chair. Does that sound right?
Yep. Perfect. Okay. Yep. We need a sort of coat. Well, we have a coat tree. We'll need a coat tree on one wall. And then we need some kind of end table and lamp.
Do you want storage in your end table? You want drawers?
It wouldn't hurt. Storage is the plus with gravy.
Okay. Same
and then
desk as well.
Yeah.
With storage. Okay.
And then we need two sort of call them like occasional chairs, something that sits with the
any requirements that you want, swivel, high back,
we prefer higher backs just because we're tall. But they need to be sort of smaller in size for this front room, not like big chunky oversized.
Okay, but also still comfortable.
Yes,
it's like Goldilocks of chairs when we do
those ones. Exactly. And then there's a little sort of part of this this room is sort of like an entryway / mudroom closet that you'd come in from the side. And so we're going to need some sort of storage options decision about how we want to use that space.
Yep.
I don't really know how to use it yet, so I don't really know what we need for it. And then that is probably need a desk lamp. Okay. I don't know how granular you want me to get.
No, I want you to get really granular.
Yeah, so we need a desk lamp.
We make you feel success, and you're like, yes, that's why I brought Jenn in.
Excellent. And then we probably want a rug of some sort.
Okay. Yep.
Just at least in the sitting area.
Is there, what I would like is, as you tell me each of those things, if there are any weird nuances, like for example, like we always have our shoes off and we really like soft underfoot, or oh, the vacuums are horrible and we need a low nap, or oh, we'll have dogs visiting and we need it outdoor waterproof.
Sure. Good. Okay. So this is a building that's more likely to have renters or other people staying in it after we'll stay in it at the beginning, but let's gear it for the people that will be using it after us. So it should be easy to vacuum and
when I used to do Airbnbs or commercial spaces, a lot of times I will use outdoor rugs in, because you can hose them off, and it doesn't mean it has to be plasticky. It just means it's a little easier. Would you be open to that? And it's okay if you're not.
Yeah, I totally would be open for that.
I'll put open to outdoor rug. The other thing that is fun too, and Europe is more open to it, is like you're seeing it more in homes in America as well, is carpet tiles with fun color and pattern. Are you open to that?
Love those too. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's keep going. Anything else art-wise?
Nope. Oh yeah. So in general, let's see.
Artwork for wall.
Yeah, artwork for wall, and I would say the bigger the better. Like it'd be great to have a great big statement piece over the back of the sofa. And this room is playful, so
well, and you know what's fun is when you start shopping, look at fabrics, like we can wrap things. I think like we could create mixed media stuff and I think the biggest misconception people do, or the biggest kind of waste of art walls, is they stay 2D on walls and they don't always like push things at different depths out from the wall and use found objects. And you are going to be great at that. I already know.
So I do have for this room it's a small sized vintage foosball table. Yeah. That it's bright green, red, and blue, and but vintage colors that I definitely want in that room, hanging on the wall. It's not playable.
How do you spell foosball?
FOOS.
Okay.
Maybe.
I had it with you. I know. I
have no idea. It's not a word I've written before.
I think it's a U. I'm going to you. Okay, football table, and you said it's green, red, and what? It's
got like a green grass, and the guys are red, and the two teams are red and green. Or red and blue, sorry. Red and blue.
Or red and blue. When I did a project with Major League Soccer, we had someone hand paint all the jerseys on everyone to look like Sporting Kansas City and another. And that's amazing.
Fantastic. I saw the most beautiful foosball table the other day, and I don't remember where I saw it. It was all wood.
Ooh, that's
just, and it was just different grains. It was a dark grain of wood was one team, and I was just like, that's like, where would we put that? I'm like, I don't know.
Wouldn't it be fun if you painted them like you're like, oh, there's Vivian Westwood, or there's Sid Vicious, or and then David Beckham, or Pop. Like
it would be so much fun.
Okay, next. Okay, does that get that room done?
That gets that room done.
Okay, perfect. Let's go to our...
So then we have a hall. And then the other thing for that room is I have a collection of old game boards, vintage, and I've used it in every house since I've started the collection, and they're beautiful. And so I'm just going to fill that wall with the game boards.
Okay.
We might want to think about framing them, though, if we're going to.
Okay, I'll put.
If we're going to put it.
And sometimes that's just a trim carpenter. So In your journey with the contractor, we'll want you to become best friends with some of these trades. Okay. Keep going.
Perfect.
You're doing
Keep
great.
going. Okay. And then that's it. We have the mattress in the bed frame, but the bed frame is just an IKEA cloth head frame, which I think is kind of gross to have for rentals.
Well, or, what's really great is we get a staple gun and we cover a vintage rug, or we cover in a vinyl, a modern colored vinyl. So we could do
and actually it's simple enough. It could even like make it sort of slip cover for the headboard, so it could be
Can you
washed. I made my own wedding dress.
Shut the front door. Can we make pantsuits when I'm over there?
Yes.
We're gonna have Italian, or like A-line dresses that are like.
There we go.
Yeah, that'd be easier than a pantsuit. Okay, so recover. Okay, I'm taking notes. Keep going.
Okay. Let's see. We need. And then I loved your idea of finding some sconces that we can make plug-in, that we can rewire.
Plug-in.
Okay, so then we can go into the studio.
Yeah.
So we're building in
the name real quick. When I saw it, I was like, how cute. That's really nice that it's like study and then -O is how you wrote it in your original form. Now, is that something you made up? Is that what they call it? Like,
no, I made it up because we're thinking of possibly using the place for artist in residence program. I would love to grow the artist scene in our town. So it would be a studio if it was an artist visiting, but if it's not an artist, then it's just a study or an extra bed. No. So we couldn't figure out what we kept calling it, and I would call it the study and then I'd call it the studio, and Matt was like, you have to decide. So I just combined them.
I love it. Perfect.
Studio. We need to make the decision on what kind of bed, Murphy bed. It's got to be nice. It's got to be high end, because if we're renting this out and saying this is a bedroom, it can't be like it's a cot. So if we can find a good quality that looks good while it's up, because most of the time it'll be up, but also is legit when it's down.
I think honestly, going on the TikTok wormhole of these conversion beds is really interesting. And I think you and I should like challenge each other to find the best version of it. I think you and I talked about this last time. You can always buy the mechanisms for Murphy beds. They can be horizontal or vertical. But what happens if we take it one step further? What does it become? And maybe it's like a table that slides off and it opens to a bed, like it opens the sides or pushes as a headboard up and back, and there's a underneath.
Can we lower it from the ceiling? The ceiling's very high.
I love that one. Are they high?
Yeah, very high.
Okay.
I think 3 meters probably. Okay. Once we have a place, and maybe that's here, Matt and I've already started a sheet that has the rough dimensions and ceiling heights.
Okay. The one thing when you start going into the roof, which I think you're doing, is do you put bracing in the ceiling to hold a bed so you could drop it, and planning that now.
Right.
From ceiling. I'm just I can't spell. Okay. Bracing needed, question mark. I love the ceiling ones, and those have been around for a bit, and I think there's cool mechanisms for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so perfect. Keep going. As things get done, one homework thing you can do is put the links to the actual stove, whatever. So
we'll do it. I have a lot of it already written somewhere, so it should be pretty easy.
And then,
and then let's see. So we roughly have the kitchen laid out.
Real quick, by each
Yep.
room, I want to describe it. This is
Okay.
like design therapy. So,
Okay.
whereas you had one where you described it as the, kind of like ode to birds, this one
Yes.
you have an ode to yellow, but
Yep.
how would you describe its vibe? Like,
Yeah. Okay. So, um, oh, this one is just a really happy room. I just want it to be sunny and sunny in spirit, and the yellow
yeah,
is sunny as well. But um, I'd like it to be playful but not childlike.
yep,
So I like the play of something maybe that's a more formal looking table, but really lighthearted chairs, or
yeah.
all
So,
of it's lighthearted.
the
Like
mood. Yep,
we're doing a fairly modern looking cabinets, and the adjustable arm lights were very modern, and then it's got a chandelier that has yellow drips from
yeah,
it. So it's just playing with it's just really a playful sort of bright, sunny
yeah.
room.
No, I like. Perfect. That is a great answer. And real quick to
Yep.
pause, bathroom, you had a kind of Moroccan meets Italian tile kind of vibe. How do you describe the style for that
Yeah,
space?
well, I mean, I would say for this, it's really an ode to the Arab
Influence,
influence in
ability,
Sicily. Yeah, when they ran Sicily and brought all the good things that are in Sicily. Everything
okay.
that tastes good comes from them.
Yay. Okay. Now, and real quick, hallway two, I just wrote feels like part of kitchen.
Yep.
Family room, what is your vibe?
Family room is just okay, so we didn't really talk art in this room.
No, we don't. So tell
So
me.
I love, okay, so there's nothing old in this part of the house, but if
Hmm.
it was perfect, I'd have some of the old walls from from the house. I'd like this to feel like it's got some history, but through texture. Like
Let's
it's
do it.
not bright, shiny, new family room. It's like it's been well loved and lived in,
Yep.
um, and stories have been told in this room, and it's just, it's cozy and um
Bad history.
so
It's
this is a great room for like a big cool mural with love in this
yeah,
room, or big art, or
big
just
mural,
something
big
cool.
art. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So I wrote add history, textural hug.
Nice, perfect.
Okay. And then let me just check up. The studio was the bird inspiration.
Mhm. Yep.
Then the main bedroom, what was the inspiration in that room?
Oh, good question. So, um, this for me feels a little like, let's say, historic bohemian, like if Victorians were
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
bohemians.
when you described it, it felt like it was a library, like a cerebral room, like
Hmm.
it was the thinking man's bedroom.
Yeah,
Kidding.
but like it's come from the whimsies of somebody who is very intellectual. So like
What?
I love, this is the room we would love to have. Gosh, we didn't talk about art for this room either.
Yeah.
Above the bed, in one of our inspiration pieces, they've got this giant poster.
Mhm.
So again, this could be a mural as well, but I think Matt would really, really like to get a big poster in here, cool vintage poster. Um, that just is like, it's obviously artwork.
Yeah.
It's artwork, but it's also this play on, it's not fine artwork, but it is fine artwork, but it isn't, and it's in here,
Yeah.
and
So,
it's got a
I
big drippy chandelier, but a modern bedspread,
yeah,
or I don't know.
and we didn't write, like, bedspread on there, so I'm gonna write that.
No, we did.
You need
Yes.
that in here.
Yeah.
So I wrote historic bohemian and
Yep.
whimsies of an intellectual.
Perfect. Yes, that's it.
Bed, linens.
I just throw up words and then you make them
No,
sound
I
good.
love it.
That's good.
Perfect. They're great. And then the hallway with the collection of vintage board games. So really the board games kind of define it, but anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, it really, honestly, the board games are sort of leading off of the sitting room, and the sitting room is really, I just, it's like the grown-up game room. It just is like, I want it to be fun, like with the foosball on the wall, and
Yep.
probably bright colored book. When I search for books for this room, they'll be brightly colored.
Yep.
I don't mind if the furniture is brightly colored. Just like
Was this your primary color room?
this is the primary color room, yeah.
So grown up great game room, ode to primary colors. Yep. So okay. And then okay, that is good. Okay, now let's go back.
At this point, we just went through the rest of the kitchen, adding on things like the sink and the rest of the art, laundry room, and it took a little while, but we were patient and we got all the way through it.
So first off, one, did you already have a list like that started or going, or how were you working? Because if I was watching this, I'd be like, what was she doing before when she picked all her stuff?
So I sort of had a list, a Google sheet that I was going on. Gosh, what was I doing? I had been since February. So
things I've learned the hard way
yeah.
from actually doing projects where you have to pull up, where is this, especially going out of town. So I'm doing that project outside of Belize in Roatan. And right now, some of our tile orders have not shown up. So we're having to track them. We're looking at order numbers. So really starting to have order numbers. Now you're going to get a lot of stuff in town, but you're still doing some online.
Yeah.
Are you doing any bringing from America? Like every time I come, I bring back in my suitcase cabinet handles or whatever.
I am not yet, but I am not. Have I not yet done that? I mean, I do bring stuff from America, but so far it's chocolate chips and double acting baking powder.
Yay.
Okay. All right. So now we'll just end up and okay. So that was a lot. I every time I go through the list,
does your brain
hurts a little bit. Also, my chair that I'm sitting in is not comfortable.
Oh, really?
So my butt hurts. But that is so useful, and I'm glad because I have a lot of information in different places. I did print up every invoice of everything I've got, so I've got it all in one page. I even have a three ring binder. I just haven't put those things together, but now I don't even know if I will. I think I'll just keep that stuff so I have it. But I'm going to start putting everything in here.
Here's my lesson for you on that.
Okay.
Still have your ring binder still printed out, have it handy, because sometimes internet is out or not good when you need it. And if you need to pull up specs quickly, sometimes you need that really fast. I would have specs for all items with dimensions so you can quickly flip to it and go from there. I am major paperless because I've learned about myself that I can always have what I need if it is on the internet. And for the most part, it's very rare I don't have internet, but I have watched clients use both, and they always like a paper copy because especially when language is a barrier, you can pull it up, show it, point, discuss it, go from there.
Perfect. So I don't know. Let's see. I think I'm going to let you give takeaways for this. So anybody who's working on anything, I think from just redoing a bathroom to a whole kitchen to a new place or a summer house, if you're that lucky, something. Can you sort of explain what we just did? What are their takeaways today?
So my takeaway is this: any project you do, you want to know what you're getting into, and it's really about how much am I going to spend? How many subcontractors do I need? Or if you're going to bring a contractor over to bid a job, if you have a tight scope of work, you are going to get a better bid for your project. If you just go high level, talk about it, nothing written down or organized, your bid, you're going to err on bidding high because that's what they don't know where you're going to land, and they have to cover their bases. So with every client, like right now I'm doing a first floor of a dated house, empty nesters. We're going through each room, whether they do it now or not. We're going through total scope of work, having it bid a la carte, putting it in an Excel document, put a line that says, okay, let's kind of budget allot it. Once you get the bids back, you can put it in via a la carte. Then you pick and choose what gets done. This keeps you from going backwards. This is the gift to yourself that gives you sanity, gets you good bids. And for us, you and I, we just plowed out the whole guest house. Now we know what items are needed, and that's all we're going to focus on. Room at a time, get you closure. Room at a time, get you closure. Hardest part as a homeowner is at some point, stop looking at Pinterest, put the blinders on. It's never ending ideas, but at some point you commit to a concept. This commits you to a concept.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect. Okay, so everybody else has their homework. My homework is to fill in all the rest of those slots. I'm also, I didn't tell you this, but I've now set up with our architect who's also managing the project for us, a weekly day for sure. Like he reaches out to me when he needs to, and I reach out to him. But these will be the days that we get like our up to dates, because we're starting to move now, and so I'll be able to give you updates of that as well. So I'll be ready with my homework, what's been happening, what I got done, probably any fires we need to put out, and we'll keep this moving.
To end on a final note of that, having weekly meetings with your team is very important. When we do projects, we have the architect, the designer, the client, any supplemental humans, and we all do a weekly call to make sure it saves 85 emails. Everyone can ask questions. It's done. It's closed.
It's great.
So yes.
It's very good. Jenn, thank you so much for your time this week again. It's so great to have a Jenn and Jenn talk, and we'll be talking again next week, and we're going to keep recording these, guys, and we have something really interesting to share. We'll share it with you. I feel so lucky to have this house. I feel so lucky to work with Jenn and our architect and everybody in town who is like, when our butcher found out we weren't turning it into a hotel, that we were going to live there,
he was happy.
Gave me more meatballs.
More meatballs.
It was very sweet. His name is Felice, which means happy. And I was like, every time I see him, I'm happy. But I want to be able to share this, and I want to make some of this like useful for you guys too. So as long as we're doing that, or if you have questions for us, well, really for Jenn, because she's the expert here, but us, let us know in the comments on these two. And we look forward to talking to you next week, Jenn. And I'm going to go do my homework now.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao, ciao.